In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to use Supabase and Firebase together in Flutterflow. By the end, you'll have Supabase connected to your Flutterflow app while keeping your existing Firebase setup, so you can use the strengths of both platforms side by side. First, head to the Supabase dashboard and open the Projects area. If you already have a project set up for your app, go ahead and open it. If not, we'll quickly create one. Click New Project to start the setup. You'll be asked to choose an organization. Pick the one where you want this project to live. Give your project a clear, memorable name so it's easy to identify later in Flutterflow and your team's notes. You'll also be prompted to enter a database password. Treat this like any production credential. Make it strong, store it securely, and avoid sharing it. Next, choose a region that's closest to the majority of your users to keep latency low. When everything looks good, create the project and give Supabase a moment to provision your database and services. While you wait, it's a good idea to prepare a safe place, like a private notes app or a password manager where you'll store the items we're about to copy. Once the project is ready, open it and go to Project Settings. Find the API section, sometimes shown as Data API or similar, and locate your project URL. This is the base URL your Flutterflow app will use to communicate with Supabase. Click to copy that URL and paste it into your notes. Keeping it handy will save you time when we switch over to Flutterflow. Next, in the same settings area, open API keys. You'll see a section for legacy keys, including anon and service role. We only need the anon key for Flutterflow. The anon key is safe to use in your client app when you have proper row-level security policies in place. The service role key, on the other hand, is extremely powerful and should never be embedded in a client application. Click the anon key to reveal it, copy it, and save it next to your project URL in your notes. Double check that you copied the anon key and not the service key. Now let's move to Flutterflow. Open your existing Flutterflow project. On the left sidebar, go to Settings, then open Integrations. Find the Supabase integration and enable it. You'll see fields to enter your project URL and your anon key. Paste the project URL you copied from Supabase into the URL field and paste the anon key into the key field. Confirm and save your changes. At this point, Flutterflow knows how to talk to your Supabase backend. This doesn't replace Firebase. It simply adds another data and auth layer you can use in the same app. For example, you might keep Firebase for push notifications or analytics while using Supabase for relational data, SQL queries, and Postgres-based features. The key is to be intentional about which service handles which part of your architecture. A few best practices as you proceed. Store credentials securely and rotate them if they're ever exposed. In Supabase, ensure your row-level security policies allow the reads and writes your app needs while blocking everything else. If something doesn't work immediately after connecting, verify that the URL and anon key are correct and that your tables and policies are configured. In Flutterflow, once the integration is enabled, you can start defining queries and actions that point to Supabase tables and functions. Keep your data model clean and avoid duplicating the same dataset in both Firebase and Supabase unless you have a clear reason and a sync strategy. That's it. You created or opened a Supabase project, grabbed the project URL and anon key, and enabled Supabase inside Flutterflow. You're now set up to use Supabase and Firebase together in one Flutterflow app. Save your notes, commit your changes, and you're ready for the next step, building features on top of this dual backend setup.